Hello, all. Welcome to Morning Minutes for Friday, April 11th, 2025. Today, our message is Choose Wisely. Listen to what Solomon said in the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verses 1 through 3. It says, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, like rivers of water. He turns it wherever he wishes. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the hearts. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice." The point here is that when we let go of how we think things should go and allow God to weigh our hearts and lead us, there are no limits to where he may take us. We as humans tend to focus on the goal rather than the process. In fact, it's safe to say that oftentimes we're so focused on the goal that it becomes in our hearts and minds an all-consuming end to which we aspire. The imperative most of us, including me, too often miss is that the real goal is actually the process. For example, I want to be in better physical condition. However, in my humanness, I see only the goal. And as a result, it becomes an unattainable juggernaut, a distance too great for me to travel, and a shelf too high for me to reach. But when I remember how much I love riding my bike and being out in nature, smelling the flowers, seeing all of God's beauty, the distance becomes irrelevant. And the height I need to reach, only a small piece of the authentic joy of the journey. You can apply this to anything and to any principle in life. The book of Proverbs puts it perfectly, saying, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge God, and he will make your path straight." That's from chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. We, as believers in Jesus and in his promises, are faced daily with the choice to either be imprisoned or to walk in freedom, whether through our thought lives, our intentions, or even where fear lays hold in the anxiety of our circumstances. We will ultimately decide whether to surrender to our jailer or surrender all of it to God. Fairness is not our concern, nor is any injustice we may have been handed by the world, whether real or perceived. God always desires our good, and we serve but one master, the author and finisher of our faith, the Lord Jesus. When we choose his way over our own, we live as freed men and women. When we turn our hearts toward God, our burdens become light, and even the most arduous of tasks becomes easy. When we agree to receive the fullness of his blessing and favor, there is then no chain that can bind us, no prison that will hold us, and no force or power of hell that can defeat us. If we can simply fall in love with the journey and everything that comes with it, the end, rather than being some insurmountable obstacle, then becomes a foregone conclusion and is true joy all along the way. The spiritual application being that if our ultimate destination is fixed, our focus, our passion, and our love are freed up to be wholly invested in the enjoyment of just being on the road we travel to arrive there. So, as the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verses 4 and 5 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him also, and he will do it." So leave the destination in God's hands. Walk the paths laid out for you, and remember to embrace the time in between. Well, that's all for today, guys, but I pray that God would use this message and this simple principle to touch an area of your life where you may be struggling. So be blessed, and until next time, remember, I love you all.